Good evening and welcome to the very first Atlanta Tribune Technology for Business Tips and Tricks webinar series. I will be your host, Brent Leary, and we're going to give folks a couple of minutes before we get started, maybe 1 or 2 more minutes to let some more folks join us before we jump into the webinar. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to have a great hour. It's going to be packed with information. We're going to be talking about Google TNT this night, Google Tips and Tricks, and we have one of the most knowledgeable folks to talk about Google Tips and Tricks. His name is Jeff Brathwaite. If you've been to any of the Moving Your Business Forward events, you already know how good Jeff is. But we're going to take another minute or 2 before we jump in. So please bear with us, stay tuned, and we will be right with you. Okay, I think we're going to go ahead and get started. We have some folks that are still coming to join us, but we want to make sure we give you enough time to consume a lot of information. Once again, my name is Brent Leary. I'll be your host for the webinar tonight and for the others in the series. And this is just the first in a series of webinars that will be focusing on how we can help you get the most out of technology. This is not going to be a 30,000-foot level discussion. This is going to be feet on the street, giving you tips and tricks that you can walk away right after this webinar and put in play to make yourself more productive and efficient and hopefully be able to grow your business. So as I said, I am here with Jeff Brathwaite. We're going to introduce you to Jeff in a minute. But before we turn it over to Jeff, got a couple of things we want to touch base on. Let me go ahead. Here we go. So as I said, this is the first in a series that we're calling the TNT Atlanta Tribune Technology for Business Sake TNT series. We're going to try to do these every second Tuesday of the month. So this is the very first. The next one will be July 9th. We're going to talk about that towards the end of the evening. But be on the lookout. You'll get notified. We'll make sure that you know about every one of these webinars as we do them. Now, if this is your first time being on a webinar, a GoToMeeting webinar, there's a couple of things I want to point out to you. If you want to ask questions, if you look over to your right, there's a panel, and towards the bottom, there's one that has a questions. If you hit the plus next to the questions, it'll open up the question window, and you can throw some questions at us. And one of the things we want you to do is to maybe queue up a few questions, because after Jeff gets done, we hope to have enough time there so that we can get Jeff to answer some of your questions. We also, if you want to have a conversation, a running conversation during the webinar, and maybe talk with each other, and I'll be moderating the chat as well. If you use Twitter, we would ask you to use the hashtag TribuneTNT so that we can all keep track of the conversations and help each other, out with any kind of questions or any opinions. So if you're on Twitter, use hashtag TribuneTNT. If you're on Facebook, go to our Facebook page. It's facebook.com/technology for business sake. All one word. Matter of fact, if you go there, go ahead and join and like it. We'd love for you to do that. So before we jump in, one more thing I want to tell you about. We want you to save the date. We want you to save Monday, July 22nd for the very next Moving Your Business Forward event. We'll get you all the details when we have everything nailed down, but one thing we do know is that it will be on Monday, July 22nd. So you definitely want to make sure that you save the date. There's going to be some exciting announcements coming out in the very near future about who's going to be presenting and all the good stuff. We got. I wish I could tell you, but I really can't. But we want to make sure that you save the date, and we will make sure that you know all the details when we get them. Okay. That is, once again, Monday, July 22nd. Now, before I turn it over to Jeff Brathwaite, I want to make sure, I want to kind of get a sense for how many of you are already kind of using, or what kind of Google products you're using currently. So I'm going to ask, I'm going to pop up launch a poll question. You should see it over on the side there on the right. And basically all we're doing is asking which of these Google products do you currently use in your day-to-day business life. Gmail, and this is select all that apply. So are you using Gmail, Google Plus, Google Drive, Google Chrome as your browser? We just want to know what Google products from an application standpoint are you using. So we'll take a couple of seconds to wow, I'll tell you one thing right now. This is a big Gmail group, Jeff. I'm going to let you know that looks like Gmail is definitely one of these applications these folks depend on. I'm going to go ahead and give you another 10 seconds to get your vote in. I should have some theme music to do the countdown, but I don't have it. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and close it down, and you'll be able to see that by far, well, actually look at the Google Chrome and Gmail. So basically, you depend on Google for your browsing and for your email. And when you also consider that you probably depend on Google for your search, that's a lot of dependency on Google. So Jeff, I think this is a great group to be talking about getting a little bit more insight into how to use Google. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and introduce our speaker for tonight. He is Jeff J.B. Brathwaite. He is known as the Internet Guy, the Internet Coach. He knows so much about so much, particularly when it comes to Google, that I'm so very happy to have him go through and share some of his tips and tricks. So Jeff, I'm going to go ahead and give you the keyboard.
Okay.
And go ahead and take it away.
Well, first off, I want to thank you, Brent Leary, and the Atlanta Tribune for having me. Let's make sure we have the correct slides here, Brent, because is this the same one that we're looking at?
Yeah, this should be... it should be, let's see. Let's go. Go to the next slide. I'll tell you.
All right. I'm going to the next slide.
Yeah, there you go. We're good.
Awesome. Okay, cool. All right. Well, again, I want to thank everyone for being here. I appreciate the Atlanta Tribune for having me, and for Mr. Brent Leary for hosting this. We're just going to go a little bit further and look at our agenda. We're going to hopefully touch on all of these subjects within the time frame that we're here, and then at the end, Brent, we're going to have some Q&A. Is that correct?
Absolutely. If people want to go ahead and start, as you go through your presentation, they can either use the question window that's right there on the left, or if you want to toss questions over at Twitter, go ahead and use that hashtag that you see at the bottom of the screen there, Tribune TNT.
Good. All right. Well, looks like the poll that Brent gave out was really good to know that there are some Chrome users and some Gmail users. One of the things we're going to cover is Google Apps for Business, which is the business side of Gmail. Okay, if you're used to using Gmail, you're going to really like to see the things that Google Apps for Business has to offer. We're going to touch on Google Voice, Google Chrome, Google Drive, and Docs, and we're going to end out with some good stuff when it comes to Google Hangouts, but we'll go further into some things that are going to happen with the Google Plus and Google Authorship, which is something that maybe you guys may not know a little bit about, but we'll go over that as well. So let's get started.
You having trouble moving the screen?
Yeah.
All right, I'll go ahead and do it for you.
Cool. All right, very good. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with Google Apps for Business, Google Apps for Business is being used by 5 million plus businesses around the country and the world, okay? And I want to start off with security. A lot of people are kind of hesitant when it comes to a cloud-based service or product. That's what we're talking about, you guys. It's something that's used in the cloud. This is not installable software. You don't have CDs or disks or downloads. You're doing all this in the cloud, and that's what Google Apps has to offer. So I start off with security because that's probably the most asked question. Is my data secure? Are my emails secure? And by far none that they are. Google uses some of the level of security that is some of the most impeccably looked at security when it comes to government agencies. And when you look at this data, not only can you put the data there, but you can get it back. And I'll be able to talk about that later on. So your data is safe there in the cloud. It's password protected. And every window that you go to within Google is securely connected. So you'll see the HTTPS on every window. So you should be rest assured that the security is there. And again, this data is protected 24/7. All right. Okay. Now, there's a term out there called going Google, or those businesses that have gone Google. There's so many of them to name, but if you look at this particular slide, you've got a lot of startups using Google, primarily because the fact that it's a cost-effective service to use for your business. Okay, and if you look at here, you got 58% of the Fortune 500 have gone Google. Okay, that's huge. All right, we're talking about Fortune 500 companies, enterprise companies that are excuse me, that are using Google every day. Okay, and then you got major universities now going Google. All right, they want to make sure that their students are going to get the best type of service when it comes to Google, so they've gone and joined the fray when it comes to going Google. And if you can look down there, there's plenty of other companies like Costco, let's see, American Red Cross, DHL, these and GE, they're all gone Google. So if these companies have entrusted Google with their information, their data, why couldn't we, okay, as small business owners? Okay, it starts with your Gmail. Most people here who are on the call, they went ahead and did the poll. If you're familiar with Gmail, this is going to be something that you're really going to sink your teeth into, because it starts with a login to Gmail. All right. If you're familiar with Gmail, you know that you can actually get your Gmail on your computer, on your desktop, your laptop, your phone. All these things are going to be available to you when it comes to Gmail. Okay. So Gmail, the starting point, has nothing that you wouldn't be used to by just logging in with your username and password. Next slide. Most are familiar with this particular look of Gmail. Gmail has gone through many changes, but for the most part, your Gmail is going to look like this. Okay, if you're using it for your personal use, we're going to get into exactly how one can use it for your business. So you can actually see that there's going to be some similarities in Google Apps for Business and Gmail because they come from the same source. Next slide. Okay, here's an example of a plain vanilla Gmail account. Okay, if you look at it on the left, you've got the ability to have a chat sequence. You can actually get in hold of your contacts from here. Of course, you're going to be sending and receiving email. That's exactly what it does. And for the most part, when you do your chatting, you can actually chat with those who have a Gmail account or an account for Google Apps. So either one of those accounts will interact with each other, all right, using the Gmail client. One of the other things that we'll go over and we'll take a look at very briefly is that what a lot of people don't realize is that you're using the power of what Google has been known for when it comes to search, okay? So when you are looking for a particular email, be rest assured that if you put that keyword in, it will find every email that you're looking for, so that way you can, be more aware of where things are. And for the most part, you will not have to delete an email. And I can show you, when I show you one of my accounts, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Email at this point, the size of your email box can be the mere fact it is that size, over 30 gig. You can actually just have your email there and not have to delete. Google Mail is, again, more than just email, all right? If you look at this particular slide, you can actually have your particular company, all right? Your company can actually access the Gmail client, okay? And you can access it from all different devices, all right? It's when you use Google Apps email, you now can customize this to to all of what your business has to offer. Okay, you can put your logo there. You can actually even have your color scheme when it comes to the Google Apps email, and you can customize it in a way where you can actually create different aliases and emails, all for the people that are going to be a part of your business. So it can give you many of the features that you're already used to when it comes to some of the traditional mail that's out there, say Outlook mail, and then some. It can do so much more. Okay, this is one of my accounts. As you can see, top left has a logo there. Of course, it's not the logo of my business, but it happens to be the logo of one of my favorite teams that I have. And so just to let you know that you can actually put your logo in that section and customize it to anything you want. You can see that it actually can be done. This is one of my personal Google Apps mail accounts. Okay, and if you look here, this hasn't been customized, but for only the logo on the left-hand side. If you see the email on the right-hand side, see it says google@tothenextlevel.com. All right, that's an email alias that I created, and this is the email inbox that you're looking at right now. You're probably very familiar with it if you're using Google email, the regular Gmail. And if you're not, if you're more used to using Outlook, you can still see that you have your inbox on the left, your sent messages, all those things that you're pretty much used to in an email client. Okay, and it gives you other features that we're going to go over as we go on with the presentation. Okay, here's a perfect example of the power of Google search within your Google Apps email. Okay, if you look at the top left where we have the search box, you put in something that you're looking for. I happen to be looking for the Atlanta Tribune. Well, I'll get all of the emails that have Atlanta Tribune, and I happen to open this email because I was looking for information on a previous Moving Your Business Forward one of the sessions that we had, and if you can see, it's also highlighting where it found Atlanta Tribune in each one of these sections. So if you know that the power of search is always going to be utilized within your email, again, if you look at the inbox, the very left-hand side, and you see that number, okay, that number represents how many emails I have in my inbox. Yes, I do not delete, okay? Many people decide the fact that they want to delete their emails. With Google Apps Mail, and for that matter, Google Email, you really do not have to delete. You can use your email as an archive, so whenever you need that email for whatever business purposes, you can actually use it using search, and within seconds it is there for you. Now, what you can also notice is on the left-hand side, I have labels that are similar to the folders that you would have in an Outlook, and they're color coordinated. Okay, I have different clients of mine who have different colors, so whenever I see their email, I know it's them, and it's easier to identify. So I can put that color coordination in my emails, choosing the actual labels that I want. Okay, if you look on the right-hand side, you see the lovely Allison Slocum, who is one of the people from the Atlanta Tribune, and you look at the right-hand side, and all her information is there regarding her social media. Now, you may not be familiar with what this process is, but this right here is a section that is known more as an extension of Gmail. Okay, some of you may be familiar with extensions when it comes to Gmail. Some of you may not. We'll go over a little small group of them, but for the most part, as you can see, I have all of her social media right here, readily at hand and available to me within opening her email message. Okay, so if I wanted to, I can then follow her on Facebook, follow her on LinkedIn or Twitter. Okay, and I can get some of the information that she has shared with those services. So as a result, I can be up to date at where my client is sharing information, and I can actually, find that information for future business purposes, or I can store that so that I can actually know more about my customer, my client, and be readily able to sell to them and or offer them different things that I have when it comes to my services. Okay, this is another example of an email. Okay, and again, on the right-hand side, you see that there's another person that is after opening their email, I then get the chance to see all of their social contact. Okay, I am also looking at the last 3 tweets that this person has shared on Twitter. Okay, what would this do? Well, if I'm following this person, and if I want to know additional information on them, and I'm looking to, sell, say, my services or products to them, it'd be good to know more about them with what they share. People do business with you based on the fact that they enjoy what you do, what you say. Enjoy your company. So if the mere fact that I'm able to learn more about this person and understand what they do, I can actually look towards servicing them and selling, say, more services or products to them. So it helps you in a great deal. It's all encompassed in one place. So I don't have to go out and get to a Twitter client. I don't have to go out and get to a Facebook client. I can see all this information right inside my Gmail client. Okay, now you went from the plain vanilla, and now you see my actual Google Apps email, and a lot of people say it's like email on steroids. There's a lot of stuff going on. Okay, you have everything from the left-hand side where my calendar is. I have a calendar there, shows all the information based on the different appointments that I have. At the top, it has my YesMail extension, and I'll talk a little bit more about YesMail and what it does and how very important it is for you to obtain a YesMail extension in your Gmail account. You see that I have all the labels there that are color coordinated. The green for certain Google alerts that I want. So you see it on the very middle. I have set this up into separate inboxes, okay? So whenever someone sends me information, I can put it in my follow-up, my to-do, okay, my hold, and my leads, okay? All of these things are there for me to follow up with them, and I don't, again, don't have to delete. I can keep this information right there in front of me, and when I need it, when it's necessary to have for me to act on it, I can do it right there, right within my email client. You also notice on the very right, I have another social media extension, and that gives me even further information on the person that I'm actually doing business with or looking to do business with. I can see, you know, some of the updates they've been going through on a regular. So there's more of a place where I can go to, and this place is my email address. When before you had to go to so many different websites, so many different places to find this information and keep track of it, keep, you know, store of it. Now it's all within one place. So as a result of using my email, using the different tools that are within my email that are within Google Apps Mail as well as Gmail, you can be such a more efficient when it comes to your business and trying to, you know, take it to that next level and be so much more effective when it comes to doing your sending and retrieving emails. And well, again, we'll go into a little bit further later on, but these extensions are so key to you for you to utilize, and we'll talk about those in a couple other the slides to come. Okay, all right. These are the extensions and also the services that Google has to offer. All right. There are many of them, but these are the ones that I want you to take a look at on this call. All right. First and foremost, Postini. Okay. You're probably not familiar with the name Postini, but if you have a Gmail account and a Google Apps account, you're familiar with this because this is the company that figured out the all-encompassing and dreaded spam. Okay. Yes, spam. Postini was a company that actually Google purchased not too long ago, and they are really the ones responsible for why in most of our Gmail accounts, I'm sorry, I get like 99% mail that I want to have, as opposed to in most places, in most emails, you get all this spam that you have to deal with, wasting your time, energy, and money when it comes to your business. Well, Postini has taken care of that on Google's behalf. So if you have your Gmail account, you have your Google Apps account, your Google Apps account is even more increased with the Postini service, and it pretty much obliterates spam. So I wanted to talk about that first and foremost because I know all of us just can't stand getting that unwanted email called spam. All right. The next one over is Yesware. Yesware is a extension. Okay. I'll talk a little about what extensions are really soon, but it's an extension of your Google Apps or Google Gmail account, right? What Yesware does is pretty amazing. When you send out an email to prospective client or a customer, you want to know, did they open it? You know, it'd be nice to know if they open it. Well, lo and behold, Yesware will give you a notification that comes back to you that lets you know that that person has opened that email. Not only opened it, but if you had a link in there, it'll let you know that that person clicked on the link. It'll let you know the time, the day. It also lets you know the actual device that they used. Okay, an example being, so if someone opened a particular email on their desktop, and then they open it again on their laptop, and they open it, say, one more time on their phone or say, PDA, I'm sorry, device like an iPad, then you have a good shot of knowing that, hey, they really like that email, whatever that you sent to them, and you can kind of confirm. You may need to send them yet another email, or you can actually call them on what had transpired. So YesMail is an amazing service that I truly would recommend everyone utilize when it comes to your extensions, when it comes to your email or Gmail. Rapportive, you also Rapportive and Smarter. They're both services for Gmail, and they are those services that you just saw when it came to all of the social media that you saw come in there. Whenever you actually get those emails and you see on the right-hand side of the social status, Rapportive and Smarter are the two extensions and services that are doing that, okay? And last but not least, most of you are probably familiar with Salesforce. I know Brent Leary is. This is a CRM service, and it also can be one of the same types of services that can be connected to these extensions. So you can have all of these in one, where you can keep track of your customers, keep track of your pipeline, and so that when you send out an email, it will then attach itself to your Salesforce, and therefore you can actually keep track of all the things that are needed necessary to sell better and to hopefully close that deal. Okay, now here's an example of my email that is my personal email, right? You see this in terms of most of you using Gmail account. I've customized it a little bit. You see the labels on the left-hand side. It's, of course, color coordinated in the middle, right? And then if you look onto the right, I have a chat box. Of course, I'm speaking with Brent Leary. I'm also on a regular. And at the same time, I can actually take and receive phone calls and using Google Voice, all right? So this is I call these services now, I put them in perspective. I call this my command center, because not only can I get my emails, okay, and keep track of all the different people that I'm sending email to, but I can chat with my colleagues, my friends, family members, and I can take and receive calls through Google Voice, and we'll go over Google Voice and on how that works. So this is, again, I'm calling this your Gmail, your Google Mail Command Center, because you can do so many things when it comes to your email. I'm not advancing.
Hold on a second, got a little technical glitch here. All right, I think we got it fixed.
Okay. Okay. The next slide just shows you how you can actually place a call from your Google Mail, either your Gmail or your Google Apps Mail client. I can actually just punch in the phone number, and I can make domestic calls all throughout the United States for free. Okay, so if I'm in a location and I want to see about utilizing not having to utilize someone else's long distance, I can actually make a phone call and get to whoever that is in that phone call, and I can have it call my phone and connect the two so that I can make this call right away. Or if I have a headset, I'm actually making the call and placing the call directly using my Gmail account. Okay, so if you're not familiar with using Google Voice, you can connect it into your Gmail account and start making phone calls, business or otherwise. Okay, not only can you make calls, but you can actually do video calls through your Gmail. Okay, we're going to talk about what Google has done in terms of video conferencing a little later, but right out of your Gmail, you can actually do a video call. Now, that at one time was something that you had to have, pay a separate service for, have, a separate line whatever you had to do back in the day. But now you can do all of this within your video clients, okay? Oh, actually, your Gmail client. So this is one thing that you're if you haven't been able to utilize and you're needing to start making video calls, I would definitely recommend that you use. It's a great service, and it's all within Gmail, and it's free. Okay, here's the example based on Google Voice. Okay, so you can actually not only get the call, but once your calls go through and say someone's leaving a voicemail for you, this happens to be a good friend of mine, Deborah Dunbar. She left a voicemail for me, and as a result of leaving the voicemail, I can actually use an extension that is within Chrome, okay, and we'll get a chance to take a look at Chrome, and within Chrome, I can now see the voicemail that she left me, and I can decide whether I want to call her back right within my client, or I can even text her back within my client if she called me from her cell phone, okay? So this is actually allowing you to do multiple things. You're multitasking. You're actually able to perform so many different things that you couldn't before right within the same environment, okay? So, and we'll talk again a little bit more about how the extensions work, but for the most part, that's where you're going to see it within your Chrome browser. Okay, all right, here's another example of your Google Voice. And if you can see here, these are two different calls, one from my wife, one from Gwen. I can choose to see whichever one I want to either call back or I want to actually go forward and actually make it. So I can see the voicemails, I can see my texts, I can even see my recordings. You can actually record these calls, so that way if you're, say, driving directions, you want to find out, someone gives you a call in your Google Voice, you can actually see that, see the person who called, and you can actually record that call so you can have it to play back for later. So it's some amazing features in here. Again, this is Google Voice, and Google Voice is free. All right, so we'll go forward with that. All right. Not only will you be able to keep track of those calls, but you will be able to, not sure what that was, you would be able to get your contacts in, okay? So here's a list of all the different contacts that I have. They're all categorized, family, friends. This is all now able to, I can keep track of all of these within my Google Voice, and when someone calls me, any of these particular categories now can be customized. Google Voice will actually let you have each and every one of these categories have their own voicemail message. So if someone calls me from my family, they'll get the family voicemail message. Someone calls me from my business, they'll get the business voicemail message. I can even customize it to if I get the voicemail for a vendor, a client, a contractor. As many one of the individual voicemails messages, I can get any one of them right from Google Voice. Now, here are the features that we're looking for, like in Google Voice. Now, remember, you get all of these for free. Everything from your voicemail transcription, that we already saw that. You get a phone number, your business phone number. Now, most of us, if we're using our cell phone in terms of our business, you really do not want to give out that cell phone number to everyone and everyone, okay? So why not get a Google Voice number and have that be the number that you give out for your business, okay? Again, it's free. So you'll have that one number, and that one number then, when they call it, you can redirect it to any device that you want, to your cell phone, to your home phone, to your office phone. One number is all you need now with Google Voice. One of the other features that it has is SMS to email. You can send email and SMS messages back and forth using Google Voice. The feature that I like the best has to be the call screening. I don't know how old anyone is on the call, but back in the day when you had answering machines, you're able to screen calls. Okay, you get a call in and you see the number. You may even see the person's name, code with caller ID, but you're not sure you want to talk to that person just yet. Well, you can actually do the same thing within Google Voice. They call, you see them, you see the number. You can just hit one button and listen to that person's voice. And if it's someone you want to talk to, or if they have an urgent message that you want to talk to, you can break into the line and speak to that person. I think that's the coolest thing ever when it comes to Google Voice. They brought back this call screening, and it's one of the many features, again, that are free within Google Voice. They have others that you can take advantage of, but again, that's one of the best ones that I've been using.
Are you doing magic tricks over there, by the way, Jeff?
I am not doing any magic tricks. It's like all of a sudden I'm getting, and it's happening every time someone comes into the room, Brent.
Interesting. I'm not getting that, but I'll see if I can shut that off.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to try and just turn my speaker off.
Yeah, that's
can you still hear me?
yeah, absolutely.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Brent?
I can hear you.
Brent, can you hear me?
Yes, Jeff, we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Hear you loud and clear.
Okay, good. All right. Okay. All right, we'll move on, and we're going to go to Chrome. I'm so glad to hear that when we took the poll earlier today that we had a good following when it comes to Chrome. And Chrome is the premier web browser, okay? It just overtook Internet Explorer as the most downloaded browser, okay? And it was at one point in second place, and at one point not even on the radar screen, because all you had at one point was Microsoft Explorer and Mozilla, which you know, hey, there's nothing wrong with that. But when Chrome came along, it was, you know, late to the game. Well, so many years later, it is now the #1 browser of choice, and we'll go over just some of the reasons why. Okay, so why Google Chrome? All right. Well, if you look at this little depiction of a picture, the fight in the game is now between Google Chrome and Firefox. You see Internet Explorer over there on the right, eating blue. All right, mainly because there are so many more people who are not using Internet Explorer. I mean, I don't use it. I don't recommend using it. There's some issues with Internet Explorer that it still hasn't solved when it comes to security and so many other things that it doesn't have to offer. So again, the things that are going on now are primarily with Chrome and Firefox. There are other browsers out there that are pretty good, but the three here are always going to be #1, 2, and 3. Chrome now being the #1. Okay, now, why Chrome? There's a lot of reasons that people choose browsers, but these three are the ones that really take the cake for me. Simplicity, speed, and security, okay? Chrome is a simple browser. It's plain vanilla. It doesn't have a lot of bells and whistles at it when you first open it. Now, you can add a lot of bells and whistles, but when you first open it, when you first have it, it has a real minimalist feel for it, okay? It just does the job, and it has everything that you need to utilize in browsing. The next thing is speed, okay? I am huge when it comes to getting to websites fast and furious, right? Well, some of these browsers, we won't say any names, i.e., they are quite slow when it comes to some of the web pages. So you want to have your speed and efficiency when it comes to getting to these browsers. The last but not least is security, okay? Internet Explorer has some security issues. Mozilla is very good at security. I'm very impressed by them, but hands down, when it comes to security and not having your browser being hacked in any way, you have to look at Chrome being number one on that, okay? And one of the other things that it comes to browsers is that every so often they're going to crash, right? Well, when your browser crashes, IE and Mozilla, and you have tabs, everyone's doing tab browsing. Everyone knows what tab browsing is about. Well, if you got about 5 to 6 to, with my wife, 25 tabs open, right? Say one tab crashes, the whole browser crashes, right? That's just, you're done. It's over with. You got to start all over again. Well, with Chrome, if one tab crashes, it sets itself apart from all the other tabs. So the only thing that crashes is that one tab. That's a feature to me, ladies and gentlemen, that I've seen that's really something that when I looked at Chrome for the very first time. My browser was crashing, whether it be Internet Explorer or Mozilla, and everything was gone. Everything I was working on, because I work on the web a lot. Well, Google Chrome solved that problem. Okay? All right. Why Chrome? All right. Well, here's the Chrome Web Store. Okay? You can get so many of these services called extensions, applications, and themes from the Chrome Web Store. I would say 95% of these Chrome Web Store extensions and applications and themes are free. Okay? So there's so many of them that are out there that can help you with your business and can help you further your business in utilizing them. And we'll go over just a little bit of that as we go along. So let's go to the next slide. Okay. Here are just a few of the pictures in terms of the different extensions. One of the ones that I use on a regular is Wishlist. Brandon and I, we Amazon. I mean, sure, everybody on this call have purchased from Amazon, and you have a wish list. Well, you can now have an extension. You find anything on the web, you can use this extension to put it right on your wish list without even having to go anywhere else outside of the browser or to Amazon itself. You can throw whatever you're looking at on that wish list, and it will find it and be stored in your Amazon account. So that's just a cool thing that I have. That's just one of the many extensions. Go on to the next slide. Okay, these happen to be the extensions that I use on a regular. Okay, most of them are self-explanatory, and some of them I'll just go over. But if you look at them, you can kind of see exactly what they do and how they work. The first row, of course, you see my email extension, and it tells me how many emails that are waiting. And yes, I'll tell you again, I don't delete emails. People don't understand it, but I don't have to delete when it comes to Google Apps and Google X email. All right. The next one over is just an extension of an extension. I have so many extensions, I had to have that one service right there that gives me more extensions that you just cannot see. The next one over is my Google Voice extension. One over that is Hootsuite. That's a great service that I use in order to send information when it comes to social media. The next one over, because I'm a developer, is a developer tool, and this helps me look at code for websites, all different types of code. Next one over is just another sharing tool, and next one over is a Zoho product that I've been using for years. In terms of just storing information on my Zoho account. If you're not familiar with Zoho, Zoho is another web-based service, kind of similar to what Google has, a lot of different services that they offer, but I just happen to use what's called the Zoho Notebook, and that's what you see there. I won't go over all of the extensions that I have here. Just know that I use all of them for many different reasons when it comes to utilizing my Google browser. So just load from there. Now we go into applications. What are the difference between applications and extensions? Well, not that much. Extensions just happen to be on the top of your browser, and you can just go to the top, see the extensions, and utilize them. Applications are on a secondary page, but take a look at all these applications that Google has to offer. Everything from some people using Mint, desk.com, HelloFax. HelloFax is a great service that you can use when it comes to sending, retrieving faxes right into your email box. Okay, you got Nimble. You've got different services. You even got some games in here. You know what I'm saying? That you can utilize when it comes to these different applications. So there's so many, a wide variety of different things you can utilize when it comes to applications, and Google has so many to offer. Right? All right, we're going to go a little further. Google Drive and Docs. Hopefully, if you've been utilizing Google and utilizing Gmail, you're familiar with Google Drive. Google Drive is a virtual storage place. Okay, you can store all your different documents that you have, whether it be pictures or PDF files, you name it. You can store in your Google Drive. They'll give you up to 15 gigs of storage for free. Okay, 15 gigs. You can store whatever you want on there and be able to bring it up virtually wherever you are. Okay. A lot of people are familiar with Dropbox. Well, this is Google's version of Dropbox, and Google Drive has so many different features that are out there that you can actually utilize. But I use it for all different types of documents. Now, Google also has its own docs, its own documents. You can actually utilize these and be virtual all the way around. You never have to go and take these on your desktop. These are all going to be available to you. And as you can see, I have them categorized with all the information that I have, their dates based on when they were last open, and I can share any of these documents with people all securely right from my Google Docs area, which is within Gmail. Okay, so not only can I store photos, videos, and documents, but I can also share them and create them whenever I need to, and it helps in terms of the collaboration. We'll see that a little bit later. Okay, here's what I'm talking about when it comes to collaboration. Real-time collaboration right now. So you're working on a spreadsheet. This happens to be a Google Sheet, what's called a Google spreadsheet. And myself and someone else can be using this particular program at the same time. What's on the left and what's on the right is 3 different people all in the same document. We can make changes, we can make edits, and all of us see what each other is doing at this, and it's all done in real time. There are almost no programs out there that you can get that are free that you can do this with, and you get to be able to see this information, use this information, be able to have it readily available to you 24 hours a day on many different devices. Go to the next slide. Okay, there's the changes instantly, and while you're making those changes, you can chat with that person that you're making the changes with. So if there's something that you wanted to bring up, something that you wanted to change, you can tell that person, well, here's my look at what we see in these figures, and that collaboration goes back and forth. So this is an amazing feature that you would utilize. There again is another section based on utilizing your docs. You can see it looks similar to your spreadsheet. You can import a spreadsheet from your Microsoft into Google. You can do your changes, make all the different changes you want in real time, and then export it out to your Microsoft Office in an Excel format. So all of these things are available to you. You can collaborate with your spreadsheets, communicate with those who are using them one after the other. Okay. Again, this is similar to what we're talking in terms of sharing the information and then publishing it out. Okay. Google Drive has its own apps. Okay. So remember we talked about applications for your Chrome. You have Google Drive applications that will assist you with everything from accounting to music to presentation and drawing. There's a whole bunch of these different Google Drive applications that you can utilize along with the ones that we already talked about. All right. Now we'll get a little bit further into where we are with Google+. I wish we'd have got a separate poll to know how many people are on Google+. Okay. Plus is a service that Google has offered, and it has really exploded. Okay. A lot of people think that it's an offshoot of, say, Facebook. Okay. I really don't look at it as that. Yes, it's a social tool, a way that you can actually become social, but it's so much more when it comes to the business community to me. Okay. I've been able to be in contact with many different people who I admire and who I look to, just gain more knowledge from in the business world. And I would have never been able to get a chance to speak with them, chat with them, if it hadn't been for Google+. Okay, they would have not friended me on Facebook or known me on Twitter, but on Google+, I can actually have some form of a dialogue with them. And that's because Google+ is primarily, I say, for those who want to use it in the business sense. Okay, not saying that you couldn't do that on Facebook or Twitter, but Google+ to me is where I go towards doing business and assisting me in getting in touch with those who I really would like to learn more from and also do business with. So you see an example of what the Google Plus platform looks like. You see I have my associates and friends on the right hand side. I can share links. I can do almost all this. I can do all the same things that one can do in a Facebook setting, but it's not as there's no distractions. If you look at this, there's no advertising that's just telling you, okay, come get this wrinkle cream, come get this magazine, come get this whatever. Okay, all of that is absent within this environment called Google+. So you can actually really concentrate on doing some business and communicating with those who you're really wanting to get involved with.
Hey,
the next thing, yes.
We are basically at the top of the hour.
Oh wow, really?
The time really does fly especially when Jeff is doing what he likes to do, which is talk about Google.
Okay, well, I apologize for we've gone a little bit over, but I can just do this one slide, and then we can go from there. And if anyone wants to hear have some questions, we can do that. How about that?
And we'll actually, this may be a case where we break this into two, and if you're up for it, maybe we do another session that goes right into Google Plus, because it sounds like that's a biggie.
Yes, most definitely. I'm willing. I'm ready to go. Most definitely.
Okay, so why don't you wrap it up for tonight, and then we'll reschedule. We'll schedule another one where you could go wild with just Google Plus.
Okay, let's do that. All right. The last thing I'm going to share with you guys is something called Google Plus authorship. And this is so important. It's very new, but with Google Plus, now you can actually have an authorship that will allow you SEO benefits. Okay? An example, if you're putting out information, content on your blog, on your website, you want to connect it to your Google Plus account and your profile. Once you do that, you can actually have it circle back to where that link came from, and it's called this authorship. If you look here on the left-hand side, there's a way that now, if you go to the next slide, Brent, you'll see that in doing a search, you happen to see these searches now, and you see these pictures now. As opposed to having just search and text, there's these small pictures, profile pictures that you're seeing of people. Go ahead to the next slide. So when I did a search on social CRM gurus, check this out. This is an article that was done by Neil Davey, and check out who he says is the CRM guru. Our host, Brent Leary, okay? But for the most part, this was unavailable to you in terms of writing your blog post or writing your information out there. Now you have this ability to put your profile picture from Google and attach it to your work, which is your authorship, okay? It cuts down on all those people at one time who were stealing your content and claiming it as their own. This is a great help, not only to get your work out there, get it indexed by Google, but at the same time, you're gonna stand out because you have that profile pic there, and I'm probably more willing to click on a link that has a profile pic than I would with just the regular text. And again, that's Google authorship. Okay. Last but not least, we're talking about Hangouts. Okay. Hangouts are I'm going to use the word bomb diggity, right? You can actually do video conferencing for free with several people, 10 for the most part, and then a whole host of thousands or millions if you decide to go and put it onto YouTube. So we'll cut it at that in terms of Google Hangouts. We'll come back and do a whole thing on Google Plus, and I want to thank you guys for allowing me to be here and do this thing. Oh, the last, let me go back one more, Brent, because this is about security. Go back. Some of you talk about the fact that, okay, well, I put my information out there. How do I get it back? Well, Google has a service called Google Takeout. If you put it there, you can actually go to your Takeout account and get it back. You can take all of it back yourself and not have to worry about it being out there anymore. So you put it out there, you can bring it back. Okay, summary. We'll look at it in terms of all the things that we talked about. But if you wanted to see about getting your own Google Apps account, it's very, very inexpensive. We're talking about $50 per user per year. Okay, it's like $5 a month. All right, and you have all the things that we talked about and more when it comes to Google Apps and the Google Apps Marketplace. So that's it. That's it in a nutshell. If you got any questions, bring them on.
All right. Well, we're going to ask folks to really just say thanks to Jeff, first of all, for a great hour. I don't know how you packed it all into an hour, but we really appreciate it. If they want to ask you a question, Jeff, the best way to get you is it just using sending you an email, or is it hitting you up on Twitter? What's the best way for them to reach you?
Actually, the best way to freak me, you have all the information there. We can do a Google Plus as well. Find me on any of these services that you see here, Facebook, LinkedIn. But Google Plus is my new hangout, my new place to be. All you have to do is do a search on my name, J.B. Brathwaite, and you'll find me, and connect with me there as well.
All right, Jeff, thank you so much. That was great, and we are going to schedule another webinar, maybe we'll just call it the Google Plus TNT, where we just get Jeff Brathwaite go unleashed on Google Plus. But thanks again, Jeff. The next one in the series is going to be on July 9th, Tuesday. Remember, it's always the second Tuesday, July 9th from 7 to 8 p.m. And we're going to be talking about social commerce tips and tricks. How do you go about leveraging e-commerce, mobile devices, social networks to sell stuff? And our buddy, our friend, our expert, John Colder-Ice Lawson, who is an eBay platinum seller. He speaks all around the world about e-commerce and social commerce. He's going to give us a full hour of his knowledge to give some great tips and tricks for how you can actually sell stuff online, on mobile devices, on social networks. So with that, thank you for joining us. You will receive an email probably tomorrow, a little survey to just get some information, get us some feedback as to how you enjoy this. Is this the kind of subject matter you like? What other kinds of things you might want us to cover? So be on the lookout for that email, and we'll also make sure that you have a way to register for the very next webinar series. Thanks again for a great night, and we will see you next month.